Cue Dave and Ryan in 3, 2, 1.
It's Dave and Ryan's movie review.
All right, so now let's talk about whatever this movie was.
that is a great introduction to this.
Holland, starring Nicole Kidman, Gael Garcia Bernal, and Matthew McFadden. Rated R, 1 hour, 50 minutes. It's, you know what's funny? Okay, I'm going to look at that guy's name because I told you we're gonna segue here or sidetrack for just a moment. I told you that I'm watching How I Met Your Mother again.
Yeah.
I'm to the episodes with Enrique Iglesias.
Okay.
And his name on the show, Gael.
Gael.
See, we always try and work a How I Met Your Mother
Kyle?
reference in.
Gael.
Gail?
Gael.
Anyway, the tagline on IMDb reads, "A woman's picture-perfect life in quaint Holland, Michigan crumbles when she and a friend uncover a twisted secret."
This movie was so weird.
It was weird. I will say there was one thing that was kind of cool about it, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. Nicole Kidman plays a home ec teacher.
Yeah, so this movie takes place in early 2000.
Late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. You can tell by the cell phones and the Blockbuster video Ryan brought up. Yep. Anyway, her husband is an optometrist, and she starts to notice that he is spending a lot of weekends away from home and wonders what's going on there.
Yeah, and he has a weird hobby. He has a big, giant model train set.
Well, a lot of people are into model trains. I'm not saying that I am, but a lot of people are.
It's weird.
But anyway, so she starts to get curious and interested and wonder. And I think we should really start by how the show starts. And she's firing, basically, it sounds like the nanny.
Yeah,
right?
She can't find an earring.
Right, just one earring.
Yeah. So her character is kind of weird. They keep talking about how he saved her or she escaped her previous life, but you never really go into it at all.
No, and we're gonna bring that up because you brought up a really good point, and we're gonna talk about that at the end here. Yeah, and the end of this review.
She's a little crazy.
A little bit.
The best way I can describe her is this, and they hinted at it a lot, is boredom and paranoia.
Maybe a little schizophrenic.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit. So anyway, she decides that she's going to try and get down to the bottom of what's going on with her husband and what he's really and truly up to.
Yeah, she finds
a
Polaroids.
Like a toolbox with Polaroid pictures. Well, not even the spent
the
film.
boxes, yeah. But there's no photos.
Right. And so she's wondering what the heck is going on here. She starts talking to Gael Garcia Bernal, who plays Dave, the shop teacher at the school that she teaches at, and kind of confides in him.
And possible love interest. But confides in him a little bit and tells him what's going on. So she talks him into coming and breaking into his office, her husband's office, with her. Yeah, and they use their phones to communicate, and he pulls out the giant brick phone. I used to have one of those.
I had two. I did as well. The first one I had.
Well, you had to physically.
It wasn't a Nokia. It was a Motorola.
I had a Nokia,
but it was shaped like a jelly bean, or a kidney. You remember those that had the. Anyway, so they break in, and lo and behold, she does find some things there that are kind of questionable. Finds some credit cards that she didn't know he had,
and a photo album.
And a photo album of all this weird stuff. And you see on one of the pictures something about the home of the Baloney Queen. That's going to play into account here in just a moment.
Yeah. And she notices that in the photos, there's some photos of houses.
Right.
And the photos of the houses are in his model train.
Yeah, they kind of match.
Houses, yeah.
They kind of match. So anyway, she almost gets caught. Well, so you think. And she gets out, and then it's this big rush for her, and there is a scene between her and Dave, the shop teacher, that kind of tells you where the intentions are.
Yeah.
She's just looking for some adventure in her life, really. So anyway, her husband finds something in the office that belongs to her.
It was her glasses, wasn't it?
Was it a glass or was it a charm or something?
Oh, something off of her bracelet.
Yeah.
Little booties.
Yeah, so he finds them in the office, and they have a discussion, and she just tells him that she's going to be good, and that, I will live in the now, and this, that, and the other, which kind of makes you wonder what's really going on with her. Yeah. Ryan has a theory. and we're going to talk about it at the end of this. So then she and Dave decide that they're going to run away, but they need proof of what he is doing.
Yeah, because they can't ruin their son's life.
Right, and her husband is such an upstanding member of the community, and this, that, and the other. So they need proof to go to the husband and say, "Hey, we are leaving, and you're not going to do anything about it." So they follow him to a hotel, and she breaks into his hotel room, and that's one of those shopping lists that you remember seeing the things, write down 3 things that if you were to buy at Walmart, people would look at you funny.
Yeah.
This is the list.
Yeah.
Pepperoni pup treats, a pair of handcuffs, and a pair of men's underwear.
Yep.
A 3-pack.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared. So anyway, she takes pictures of all that, and then she wakes up the next morning and she needs to get home.
Yeah.
And Dave says, I'll follow him for you. Well, Dave follows him and finds out what he's really up to.
Yeah, you think he's having an affair, but
yes, it's much worse.
And then there's a plot twist.
Yes, and I don't think we want to get into it because it's kind of an interesting plot twist when you get into
Let's just say
it's a spoiler.
It involves little corgi dogs.
It does. That's about as much as we need to say. And then, of course, Dave, the husband, comes back, played by Matthew McFadden. You may know him as Paradox from Deadpool and Wolverine. He was also in Succession.
Yes.
That's where my wife knows him. So anyway, he comes back, kidnaps her. Things happen. Things go down. She hits Dave on accident. She gets taken away. She comes back, and Dave is gone.
Yep.
Now, Ryan, like I said, has a very interesting theory, and I'm like, I never even thought of that. So go ahead, lay your knowledge on them.
So in this, it seems that, to me at least, when watching this, this is a very confusing movie to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things you see, and you just have no idea why it's there. But my theory is that Gael's character wasn't there, and it was all in her head. Because, like, throughout the whole movie, she seemed crazy. Like, insane crazy. So, yeah, I think that basically she made him up. I know there is, that'd be kind of weird to see her kind of making out with herself in a car.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's my theory.
But maybe that's just all in her mind, too.
Because there was no reason, because he gets, when Matthew shows up at the end of the movie to confront them, she accidentally hits him, or Gael's character. He falls back into the TV, and it's, this is early 2000s, so you got the big square TV on a shelf or something. He hits it and it falls on him, and he starts bleeding, and then she goes off to find Harry, who ran away, and that's when her and Matthew have their big thing. And then when she comes back after that's done with, he's gone, and there is like no trace at all.
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting take on it. It really is, because it makes you think, yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
This whole movie is just weird.
It is. I will say this, and that's what I told you. Some of the colors that they used and stuff in the dream sequences, that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
But
within the first 15 minutes of this movie, I text Dave, and I was like, this movie is weird.
Yeah, he did. He really, really did. So, 2.5 out of 5.
I'm going to give it 1.
Ryan will give it a 1.
It was so confusing.
All right, so that is the latest from Nicole Kidman, Holland, and it's on Prime Video. Coming up, we're going to talk about CinemaCon. What is it? What do they do there? And what are some things that are going to come out of it that may change your movie-going experience?
Yay.
Yeah, CinemaCon when we come back on Dave and Ryan's Movie Review.